Well, tonight I can't sleep. Just because of. This is doctor's orders, October 2nd, 2025. My doctor said I should stream my thoughts and feelings on what's going on. So I thought I'd talk about a few things, yeah. Talk about two things. The few things are just fascism was creeping in with both Democrats and Republicans, but Trump just fast tracked it these last 10 years. And just the cruelty of it all, the cruelty of ICE, the cruelty of the military, the National Guard and Marines being rolled out against peaceful protesters trying to antagonate violence, and there hasn't been any uprising yet. There hasn't been any. Governors have been asking troops to step down and Trump not to send them. And I think this all began with Reagan, the slow creep in of American fascism, with it wrapped in the a Bible. Fascism would come to America wrapped in a flag and carrying a cross. And I just want to go over the cruelty of my own family. My own family, my parents and siblings know of a trans person, a trans man, who in middle school and high school could beat me in swimming on the swim team. But now they just don't think people like that deserve to live or deserve rights. They think they're an abomination. But yet they don't think Trump's in the files and Trump's an abomination for allegedly being on Epstein's plane and in Epstein's island and other Mar-a-Lago, whatever. I don't. Allegedly, of course. Cruelty to the family. My wife is an immigrant legally, and the fact that they would vote against other immigrants and support tariffs against countries that my family, my wife is from, or just, I caught him walking in a Mexican restaurant. And they're saying, well, if you didn't do anything wrong, then ICE won't deport you. And then they're going into Mexican restaurants to eat. So I don't understand. And the cruelty of the church, my brother's wedding, this was in September of last year, before the election. And the pastor said that marriage was under attack in this country. And I guess he's right, because anyone that's not cisgendered, heterosexual relationship, their marriage is in fact in danger. But I know that's not what he meant. I just don't understand why the church thinks they have a monopoly on love or family. The cruelty of the church with, in my family, with the focus on the family, James Dobson, and being anti-homophobic, conversion therapy. Not to mention when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and I read some of the words that he said about stoning gay people to death or not trusting black pilots or a number of demonstrable, horrific, grotesque, bigoted things. My mother praised him for being a true Christian on her social media and said that Erica did the right thing to forgive the shooter. And she said, look, no riots, no fires, no unrest. This is what it's all about. glory to God, what's the word called? It's not a revelation, revival. Calling it a revival. So the assassination and what's come from it is a revival. But it's just Christofascism, blatant and obvious. I don't know why they've been able to marry the government and religion with their personal beliefs so well. It's disheartening being raised in a church and leaving it after the words of Christopher Hitchens and Richard Dawkins, T.J. Kirk, the amazing atheist, Paul Zigo, T.J.'s brother Scotty Kaiser. Um, there's many more other atheists that I just can't think of right now that helped. Reddit, the subreddit back in the day, Our Atheism had a lot of memes that poked fun at Christianity that got me thinking. And of course, Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens above all, and George Carlin helped me on my road from blatant fascism. Obviously, if I hadn't had made that breakaway with Christopher Hitchens into atheism, then I guess I would be a red hat wearing monkey clown right now, clown monkey. Um, and the cruelty of the fascist government, so that they're emboldened by the MAGA voters, the MAGA supporters. For ICE is now have a budget comparable to the Russian military, and they're just going to crack down on citizens based on their skin color or what language they talk or what country they originate from, no matter their citizenship, green card status, visa status, and no protesting, either public or on social media. And then the cruelty of indifference, lastly, out of the four cruelties: the family, the church, fascist the government, and now even the opposition party is doing absolutely nothing. And that's why I've been voting Libertarian or Green Party for the last 24 years. Sorry, the last 14 years. I've been voting Libertarian or Green Party, mostly Green Party. But back in 2012, I was voting Libertarian instead of Republican or Dems. But okay, so those are the four things I want to talk about, and then I wanted to listen to what. Here's what democracynow.org has to say about Trump and Hegseth address. 800, military generals and admirals in unprecedented meeting. An unprecedented, highly unusual gathering. President Trump's and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth addressed 800 top military generals and admirals flown in from around the world in a meeting in Quantico, Virginia. Hegseth blasted woke policies and diversity initiatives. Meanwhile, the president defended his policy of deploying troops to the U.S. cities. She suggested to the officers gathered that they should view the domestic deployments as a training exercise. You know, they say when a baboon yawns, it means they're nervous or anxious or scared. But hopefully it just means I'm just tired because it's so late and I'm up. Democratic Senator Jack Reed, who serves in the Senate Armed Forces Committee, called the meeting an expensive, dangerous dereliction of leadership by President Trump. It was like a 1984 speech. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. And I don't know honestly what these military are going to do about it. These 800 generals. I mean, really, I don't think they believe in the concept of an unlawful order. I think there's enough right wing generals in that room that Pete Hegseth and Trump addressed that I don't think anything could be done if Trump stomped over the. Trump's already stomped over people's First Amendment rights, Fifth, Sixth, 14th Amendment rights. I don't, I don't know when. I mean, the military would have stepped in and done something about it if they were defending the Constitution at this point, but they simply are just following orders. And let's see if the governor of Illinois gets some clamber behind the fact that the 25th Amendment needs to be pulled because Trump is clearly demented. Not as bad yet as Biden was at the end of his term, but pretty close. But I think J.D. Vance would be even worse working with Peter Thiel of Palantir. So, what do we know about Michigan? Well, and my mom said there was no rioting or looting or civil unrest after the Charlie thing. Has she not been on like other social medias and seen all the videos of people wanting civil war and freaking out? Jumping to the conclusion and assuming that a leftist or someone, a Democrat or a socialist or a democratic socialist or a communist or someone on the left shot Charlie Kirk. Well, this is what we know about the Michigan church shooting and the arson attack. This is BBC News. Investigators are searching for a motive after a gunman opened fire at a Mormon church in Michigan and set the building on fire, killing 4 people. Officials say the attack on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, a town 60 miles or 100 kilometers northwest of Detroit, happened during a Sunday service attended by hundreds of people. They have named the suspect Thomas, I don't know who the fuck his name. He's 40 years old from Burton, Michigan, who was killed by police soon after the shooting. Speaking at the news conference on Monday, officials said the incident was a targeted attack of violence, but they had not yet asserted Stanford's motives. Well, the motive is that this Tyler Robinson kid that allegedly took out Charlie Kirk was raised by Mormons, and he was a Mormon, and he was MAGA. So I'll keep reading, but apparently this 40-year-old from Burton, Michigan was a veteran and had brain injuries. And he also thought that Tyler Robinson, by killing Charlie Kirk, was somehow the Antichrist, or the Mormons were bringing in the Antichrist. So that's why this attack went down. Well, let's see what the BBC says. How the attack unfolded. Officials have not named the 4 people who were killed in the shooting or the 8 others who were injured, including one who is in critical condition. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer urged residents not to speculate about the motive as officials conducted their investigation. Speculation is unhelpful and we can be downright dangerous. So I just want to ask people to lower the temperature of the rhetoric, she said. The shooting began around 10:30 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday when a gunman crashed his vehicle into the building and then began shooting at the congregants. One man told CBS News that he and others went outside the church and after hearing a loud boom of a vehicle crash before seeing the suspect begin to fire a weapon at the building. It was just so unexpected, said the congregant Paul Kirby. Once I saw a gun in the heart, and once I saw the gun and start hearing him start shooting it, it was just a lot of fear. It was just a lot of fear. Soon after, the shooter set the church ablaze using gasoline or another accelerant, officials say. They also found the suspect's makeshift explosive devices, said James Dyer, a agent of the Bureau of Alcohol, the ATF, and E, I guess, explosives, E. Less than 10 minutes after the shooting, the gunman died in a shootout with the police. Investigators say on Monday that they have interviewed over 100 victims. Jesus. And witnesses are part of a investigation spent the whole night processing the scene of the crime. What do we know about the suspect? Although officials have not given a motive, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told Fox News that Sanford was an individual who hated people of the Mormon faith. Officials said the suspect was a former Marine who was once deployed to Iraq. The 40-year-old told local outlet Clarkson News that he was a sergeant in the Marines and was deployed to Fallujah in Iraq in 2007. I'm excited to go, he told the newspaper. There are many changes we're making in the Middle East. We're making progress. Sanford had a previous arrest for burglary and operating a vehicle while intoxicated. So a DWI? DUI or DWI. Not much information is available of the suspect's political beliefs. Yeah, right. He was wearing a MAGA shirt. But his Facebook profile features a photo of him in 2019 wearing what appears to be a shirt promoting the re-election of Donald Trump in the year 2020. A Google Street View image of the property linked to Sanford also appears to show a pro-Trump sign outside of the house. Sanford also appeared to be the father of a son who had serious health issues, according to posts from his family and fundraiser. He is from a suburb of Flint, Michigan. So I wonder how much lead was in his water, eh? About 3,000 people just a few miles away from the Glon Blockade Township. Death toll rises to 4 after Michigan church shooting and arson attack. So yeah, I think the religious right is literally completely clueless as to what their hateful rhetoric and words and conspiracy theories really stir up in people, you know? It's just so infuriating. I mean, I was raised on the words of Jesus Christ, the red words in the Bible, and Jesus was all about love and compassion, and you could even say Marx and Lenin just ripped off the red words of Jesus in the Bible, honestly, and that's. When I had that brand of Christianity shoved down my throat after Barack Obama and after September 11th and then after the campaign and election of Barack Obama, that's what led me to figure that, hey, maybe Christians don't have it right because the ones I'm seeing, my brand of Christianity is just so hateful and people are just awful cunts. So this I Have It podcast, IHIP, I've had it podcast news. Trump's deranged speech attacking U.S. generals backfire. So this is a 12-minute video. I thought we could listen. I don't know if the quality is going to be that good, but we're going to listen to this. And, well, I guess I could ramble. I don't want to watch a video. Let's just look at another article. But I don't think, without, like, the only reason Plantier is being so... The only reason why Plantier is being so supported by J.D. Vance and Trump is because they want to make us all slaves or blackmail us for any kind of purchase history or traffic history. That's not like the white Christian American way, trad wife way. You know, they don't want girls ordering jeans on Amazon, for instance. They don't want, they probably don't want women to learn AI, computer science, or any kind of science or medical science for that matter. They want their women to stay in the kitchen. I just don't get how my family can have so many women go to college and be teachers and nurses and therapists, but then they act like they're really a trad wife and their career comes second. That's fine. I understand family comes second, but they act like they're trad wives, but they all have full time jobs and they all went to college, so they would have full time jobs. But like they're not. They're encouraging younger women to fulfill the full time trad wife life while they're not even doing it themselves. And they're all having daughters in my family. I have so many little nieces. I have one, two, three, four, five. I have at least five little nieces, and they're all like the last couple years of alpha. They're all beta generation, and I just fear for them being in this toxic manosphere, fascist manosphere. I don't know what can be done about it. I just hope people find here. Let's do the Hitchens channel. That's good. There's a Hitchens. There's a new Hitchens.
The business model is perfect for our degraded age.
AI
Take
Hitchens is
video
great.
money, use it to bully teenagers,
Sorry,
film the
I like
bullying,
AI
monetize the
Hitchens.
film, use the money to bully more teenagers. It's capitalism at its most cynical, discourse at its most debased, conservatism at its most craven, and it works, financially at least. Shapiro and Kirk are rich, famous, influential. They've turned into
That's the thing. My so many people in my sphere of growing up are financial. They're either judges, doctors, lawyers, accountants, nurses, realtors, restaurant owners, franchise owners. And like none of them, they all, you know what they all don't care about? Black and brown people. And they all just want to play lower taxes. They don't understand that maybe if they got health care paid for in a tax, they'd save money that the healthcare corporations are ripping them off. So, anyway, but here's more of AI Christopher Hitchens.
intellectual cowardice into career success, transformed bullying into a business model, made cruelty into content. But success isn't the same as victory, and wealth isn't the same as worth. History will remember them, if it remembers them at all, as symptoms of an empire
I'm hoping, yeah, symptoms of an
in decline,
empire in
as evidence
decline.
of
I'm hoping this is remembered as McCarthyism or the Nuremberg trials because I just can't take this hate anymore. I can't sleep. I'm not having children because I'm scared of the world they'd have to endure. They would never thrive in this economy. My offspring would never thrive in this climate. My daughters would never thrive in this manosphere that's coming if it isn't stopped. Children are probably going to be drafted into a minimum 5 year military service for campaigns against Russia, China, and the global south. So, anyway, here's more Hitchens.
what happens when a political movement runs out of ideas and replaces them with viral videos, as proof that you can make a fortune destroying discourse as long as you destroy it entertainingly enough. The business
Yeah, there's no discourse with these people. They're literally trolling, and it's all memes for them. It's all trolling and it's all memes. There's nothing. There's no substance. It's all bigotry, Bronze Age, xenophobia, and racism and sexism. It's just pathetic if you read a book. If you listen to a philosopher from Greek times, from Roman times, but they always twist words of warriors from the past, not knowing that the founding fathers and other important people of government were well read and well educated. And Trump Even Reagan read books and kept a diary, but Trump is like an anomaly. And even what's the guy's name? Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the pastor, the religious leader in Germany, was persecuted. He even said that stupidity was worse than evil, and that's what Trump is, and that's why I'm worried about these freaking what they're using Charlie Kirk's death now to do with the U.S. military. It's just hopefully it's so MAGA is so incompetent that they keep on failing and failing, and the government shut down, and these troops aren't getting paid, and FBI's not getting paid, and CIA, whatever. I just hope the libraries are getting paid. So here's more Hitchens.
Model is perfect for our degraded age.
AI
Take
Hitchens.
billionaire money, use it to bully teenagers, film the bullying, monetize the film, use the money to bully more teenagers. It's capitalism at its most cynical, discourse at its most debased, conservatism at its most craven, and it works, financially at least. Shapiro and Kirk are rich, famous, influential. They've turned intellectual cowardice into career success, transformed bullying into a business model, made...
Exactly. I feel like I'm back in high school when I listened to Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro or Matt Walsh or Michael Knowles. It's just like, am I back in the 90s? And are we in a locker room and you're trying to accuse everyone of being the F slur because you're scared that your dick's smaller than everybody else's? Like, I don't get made cruelty into content. Like, when all these people claim to worship and kneel at the cross of Jesus Christ, and it's like Jesus said, turn the other cheek. I've been jumped before. I've been attacked for standing up for people, either cutting in line at a lunch line or just a misunderstanding. And I got punched in the gut and didn't do anything about it and threatened that, well, you're lucky I don't report it to the vice principal or the principal. And that scared them, so they never cut in line again, especially in front of this poor, chubbier girl in high school that I felt bad that she was getting cut in front of. And then I got sucker punched 3 times in the jaw, and I just did nothing about it and took it because I read the words of the Bible that were read, and I believe in those read words of the Bible, even though I'm a fucking atheist. So turn the other cheek, right?
cruelty into content. But success isn't the same as victory, and wealth isn't the same as worth. History will remember them, if it remembers them at all.
I hope they should be McCarthy in Nuremberg trials. McCarthyism. This is the new McCarthyism in this country, but it's even worse than McCarthy or Reagan.
As symptoms of an empire in decline, as evidence of what happens when a political movement runs out of ideas and replaces them with viral videos, as proof that you can make a fortune destroying...
They don't have any ideas. The GOP and even the Democrats, the neolibs, have no ideas left, and they're going fascist to rob this country of everything that's in, what's the fort? What's the fort that has all the... Fort Knox. They're going to rob Fort Knox. They're going to turn the U.S. dollar. They're going to rob it by mining Bitcoin somehow and making the U.S. dollar worth nothing and Bitcoin worth so much. And destroying discourse as long
as long as you destroy it entertainingly enough.
Yeah, it's just like it's... They complain about postmodernism as they bring in post-truth. And like reality just has a left lens on it, if you look at it. And Mark Twain, who my father owned some of the original books, prints of Mark Twain in the 18 and early 1900s, and I don't think he'll give them to me, even though Mark Twain was an atheist and spoke out often about the corrupt politicians and religious leaders of the time. So I think I live in bizarro world now because all these people I grew up with in the church or my family or friends at church camp over the summers during my youth, where's the Jesus talk? If they're gonna marriage with this Christofascism, have a marriage of government and religion, where's all the red words of the Bible? Why are we going on the Old Testament? I thought the Old Testament was mostly neglected now because of the new covenant with the blood of Jesus Christ and his sacrifice on the cross. But I don't. What do I know? I'm an atheist now, so I must be out of the loop. What the latest uh, Jim Bakers or oh god, what's the guy's name with the goblin face? He looks like the guy from The Mask. Robert Copeland. I don't know what the latest doctrine is on Christianity or getting into heaven or Christofascism, Zionism.
Is perfect for our degraded age. Take billionaire money, use it to bully teenagers, film the bullying, monetize the film, use the money to bully more teenagers.
They're going for low hanging fruit too. The billionaires are funding Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, formerly Charlie Kirk. They're all funding them to just own a bunch of 18 to 20 to 21, 22-year olds. And they edit out the good clips that make the right look bad and the left look good. And then there you go. There you have it. It's over. So I'm just sick of the cruelness. I don't know why MAGA gets off on being cruel. I don't know why these self-proclaimed Christians get off on being cruel when they say they're Christians and wear their crosses when they're setting up camps. I mean, they I guess they glorify the holy wars. They think this is another holy crusade. They want to reunite Israel. They want Israel to take over parts of Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Iran. They want it all. And then the Christofascists think that will bring the Jesus Christ back, and the Christians think that the Jews will finally accept Jesus H. Christ as the Messiah. So that's why this genocide in Gaza is just a shrug from the Christofascists because, well, the Jews are going to believe in Jesus one way or another, and that's when Jesus comes in to help the Department of War in the last helps the Department of War in the last battle, right? I mean, it's been in Christian ever since the rapture was talked about in the 1800s, and then C.S. Lewis even wrote The Last Battle in his book series. So it's going to be one last crazy battle, and then forever there will be like a New Jerusalem and temple, and then for 1,000 years it rains, and then they go to heaven, and then all the souls are raptured. Who knows? It's up, but they believe in talking donkeys, and they believe in talking snakes, and they believe in eternal life. But you know what they don't believe in? Human fucking rights, human fucking decency, and all they worship is cruelty, white supremacy, complacency. And this is on Dems too. So I encourage you to get involved with a humanist organization or a church if you're religious, and start giving back to the communities what you can. You can look up a humanist list or a list of churches in your area that's like feed the poor and house the sick, or the home like give showers to homeless people or barbers. So, and please vote green. These Democrats are not fighting back the way that we thought they could or would. Well, I knew. I've been voting green for 14 years now, but I don't know. Yeah, anyway, here's some more Hitchens. We'll stop playing.
Capitalism at its most cynical, discourse at its most debased, conservatism at its most craven, and it works, financially at least. Shapiro and Kirk are rich, famous, influential. They've turned
This clip has made the rounds.
Oh God, it's Megyn Kelly. Well, I think I'll end it there. I've said a lot. But this has been Doctor's Orders.